Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling the most universal, yet most personal question a human being can ask: what happens when you die? It's a mystery that has haunted our dreams, inspired our greatest works of art, and formed the very foundation of our religions and cultures. Despite living in an age of science and reason, the question of what comes next is as potent as ever. In 2014, a poll by the UK's Telegraph found that nearly 60% of people believe some part of us lives on after our heart stops. Here in the US, a 2015 Pew Research study painted a vivid picture of American beliefs. 72% believe in a heavenly paradise, a place of eternal reward. Meanwhile, 54% believe in the concept of hell, a place of eternal punishment. So, what is the truth? Is it pearly gates and golden streets? Is it eternal recurrence, or is it simply ... nothing at all? Today on the deep dive, we're going to separate fact from faith, exploring the grim reality of physical decay and the profound mystery of human consciousness. But before we embark on this journey, let's take a moment to think about the life you're living right now. Whether you're building a business to leave a legacy, or just need a space to share your ideas with the world, you need a home for them online. And that's where today's sponsor, Squarespace, comes in. If you're one of the many people with a dream, a project, or a brand, you need a website that's as polished as your vision. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that lets you build a beautiful, professional website in minutes. No coding, no headaches, just stunning designer templates and intuitive tools. You can start a blog, launch a store, or promote your creative work with zero fuss. And now, transferring an existing domain to Squarespace is easier than ever. So you can manage everything: your site, your domain, your billing, all in one place. It's time to stop dreaming and start doing. You can check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/ddfdi to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now, back to the big questions. Let's start with what we know for certain. From a medical standpoint, death is defined in a couple of ways. There's cardiac death, when the heart stops beating and blood stops flowing. And there's brain death, which is the complete and irreversible cessation of all electrical activity in the brain. Once brain death occurs, the person is legally and clinically gone, even if machines are still oxygenating their body. Interestingly, people who have been brought back from cardiac death and near-death experience sometimes report being aware of their surroundings or moving toward a light. But that grace period is short. You have about 4 to 6 minutes before biological death sets in. That's the point of no return. Once biological death occurs, the body begins its journey back to the earth. This process is fascinating in a macabre sort of way. Almost immediately, muscles relax completely. This leads to the release of anything held in the bladder or bowels. The body then begins to cool in a process known as Algor or Mortis, until it matches the temperature of the room. Within 2 to 6 hours, a chemical change occurs inside the muscle cell. Calcium builds up, causing the fibers to contract and stiffen. This is rigor mortis. It's the reason the body becomes fixed in place. This stiffness fades after a couple of days as the cells begin to break down from the inside. As cells rupture, they release nutrients that feed the trillions of bacteria living in our bodies, especially in our gut. This feast leads to the body discolors, turning greenish-purple as blood pools that's livor mortis and blisters form. Gases produced by bacteria cause the body to bloat and can even force sounds, moans, and groans from the airway. It might sound alive, but it's just the last echoes of biology winding down. Within a month above ground, a body can become liquefied, returning its elements to the soil to be feasted on by insects and absorbed by plants. Underground, it can take 8 to 12 years to become a skeleton, and about 50 years for even the bones to return to the earth. So, that's the vessel. But what about the driver? What about you, your consciousness, your memories, your sense of self? This is where science hands the baton to philosophy and faith. For many, a near-death experience confirms something greater. They describe a bright light, a feeling of profound peace, or a life review. However, these experiences can be explained neurologically as the brain's response to trauma, a final burst of activity, or the effects of oxygen deprivation. One person on Reddit described their experience not as a light, but simply as, quote, black emptiness. No thoughts, no consciousness, nothing. That is a terrifying yet scientifically consistent possibility, that death is the end of subjective experience. Ancient philosophies offered different answers. The French philosopher René Descartes argued for dualism, that the mind and body are separate entities. He believed the soul, or consciousness, is non-physical and could therefore survive the death of the body. Then you have the concept of eternal recurrence, proposed by Friedrich Nietzsche. He suggested that the universe and all existence is finite in its energy but infinite in time, meaning it will eventually repeat itself exactly, over and over again. You will live this exact same life, forever. It's a dizzying thought that challenges us to live in a way that we'd be happy to repeat eternally. This idea echoes the Eastern concept of the wheel of Samsara in Buddhism and Hinduism. Here, death is not an end, but a transition. Your actions in this life, your karma, determine the nature of your next life. You could be reborn as a human, an animal, or even a divine being. The goal, particularly in Buddhism, is to achieve enlightenment and break free from this cycle of death and rebirth, attaining a state of peace called nirvana. And then, of course, there are the Abrahamic views of heaven and hell, a paradise for the just, and a place of punishment for the wicked, a final judgment that gives profound moral weight to our earthly actions. So, what happens when we die? Will we tip our cap to St. Peter at the pearly gates? Will our energy be recycled into a new life, a new form? Will we be trapped in an infinite loop of the same existence? Or will our consciousness simply vanish like a candle flame in the wind, leaving our bodies to seed the earth and nothing more? The honest answer is, we don't know, and perhaps that is the point. The mystery of death gives life its urgency, its poignancy, and its beauty. It's the question that makes us ask the more important one: how should we live? We'd love to know what you think. Do you believe in an afterlife, reincarnation, or nothing at all? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And please, don't die on us before you hit that like button. If this exploration of life's biggest questions fascinated you, be sure to check out our other video, This Is How You Will Die, for a deeper look at the statistical probabilities of our final moments. Thanks for watching the deep dive. Until next time, stay curious. And remember, while you're here on Earth making the most of your time, make sure you're building something you're proud of.